Elena Vasquez hadn't aged a day in 15 years. Her dark hair was pulled back in the same severe bun Okafor remembered, her olive skin unmarked by time or combat. But her eyes, those had changed. They held depths that spoke of witnessing things beyond normal human experience, knowledge that carved lines invisible to the body but permanent in the soul. "You look old, Idris." She gestured with her sidearm toward a clearing where reality seemed marginally more stable. "Time wasn't kind to you after the signal fragment was removed." Okafor's jaw tightened. "Elena. I heard you'd gone rogue." "Rogue?" She laughed, the sound bitter as burned copper. "Is that what they call it when you refuse to feed children to their experiments?" Her weapon never wavered from its target. "Move. All of you. We have sanctuary nearby, and there are things you need to understand before this convergence gets us all killed." They were escorted through terrain that hurt to perceive directly, stone trees growing downward into sky pools, streams of liquid light flowing uphill toward gravity wells that hummed with alien mathematics. The hollow collective soldiers moved through it with practiced ease, their equipment modified with crystalline components that resonated with zone frequencies. "You're using signal tech," Wren observed, his engineers eye caught by their gear modifications. "But that should be impossible. Resonance interference destroys conventional electronics." "Only if you're still thinking conventionally," one of the soldiers replied. "The zone teaches you to work with chaos instead of against it." Their destination was a settlement that shouldn't have existed, hollow-built structures integrated seamlessly with zone phenomena. Buildings that phased between dimensions to avoid gravity storms. Walls that bent light around them for camouflage. Gardens where impossible plants grew in crystalline soil, their fruits glowing with stored resonance energy. "Welcome to Haven," Elena said as they reached the settlement's heart. Home to 300 refugees from core experimentation. Including 17 former fragment bearers who chose amputation over continued integration. The implications hit like hammer blows. 17. Ghost whispered. "There are more of us. We're more of you." Elena's expression darkened. Project Resonance has been harvesting fragment bearers for 8 years. We break them out when we can, but amputation. She touched her left shoulder where Kael now noticed the telltale stiffness of phantom limb syndrome. Not everyone survives the process. Sable lowered her hard light construct slightly. "You had a fragment too." "Fragment 4. The architect." Elena's voice carried old pain. "It showed me blueprints for structures that could exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Beautiful designs that could house thousands while taking up no physical space. I spent 3 months building impossible cities in my mind before I realized what it was really showing me." She gestured toward the settlement around them. "Prison designs. Ways to contain entire populations in pocket dimensions where they couldn't escape or be found. The core wanted to use my fragments' knowledge to create holding facilities for anyone who opposed them." Okafor's prosthetic hand clenched into a fist. "Elena, I didn't know." "Of course you didn't. Because you followed orders while I asked questions." Her anger was cold, controlled. "Do you know what Hallam's real goal is? Why she triggered the fracture in the first place?" Through his fragment's perception, Kael felt other consciousness patterns nearby, damaged, incomplete signals that spoke of traumatic severance. The amputated fragment bearers Elena mentioned, their alien symbiote surgically removed but the neural pathways still scarred by impossible knowledge. "She wants to open controlled dimensional breaches," Elena continued. "Turn the fragments into living keys for selective access to other reality layers. Imagine the military applications, instant transport across vast distances, pocket dimensions for supply storage, dimensional artillery that strikes from impossible angles." "That's insane," Wren breathed. "The hunters would." The hunters would follow any breach we opened directly to Earth. Elena nodded grimly. Which is why Fragment 5 came to us willingly. The mirror chose protective custody over core experimentation. She led them toward a structure that existed in 3 dimensions simultaneously, its walls reflecting surfaces that shouldn't be possible to see. There's someone who's been waiting to meet you, Kael. Someone who understands what the fragments are really running from. The door opened before they reached it, revealing a young woman with prematurely white hair and eyes that reflected light like polished mirrors. Fragment 5's host stepped forward, her form shimmering between multiple dimensional states. "Hello," she said, her voice carrying harmonics that belonged to no single throat. "I'm sorry we had to ambush you, but we needed to reach you before." Ghost went rigid. Her face drained of all color as recognition hit like a physical blow. "You," she whispered. "You're the one who trained me." The mirror-bearer's eyes filled with tears that reflected impossible depths. "I didn't want to. The mirror made me see everyone's worst selves, and I couldn't stop looking. It showed me how much pain you were in, how desperate you were to escape reality, and I thought." Her voice broke. "I thought if I took your phasing ability, I could help you stop running from yourself." The truth hung in the air like shattered glass. The mirror hadn't drained Ghost for power, it had tried to save her.